Hello and welcome to Not Without My Sister. Today, Rosemary's crying and I'm not. And so it's very appropriate. We just got a question in from one of our listeners. What should I say when someone is upset? I never know what to do. Now, I can relate to this because I'm sitting here right now feeling a small twitch on the side of my mouth because I'm inappropriately feeling like laughing. But I don't know what to do. So, Rosemary, what should I do right now?
Well, definitely don't laugh. But I think you started off well when you're like, "Do you want me to get you a cup of tea?"
Oh, yeah. But you
That's
said no.
Yeah, but like that's a good Irish response to crying. Like, "Do you want me to get you?" Or like, you know what? Although Irish people are shit at answering this. I was going to say sometimes it's nice if someone goes, "What do you need?"
Oh,
But then you just go, "Nothing. I'm grand."
well... Why, you might ask, is Rosemary crying? Because we had started a different episode with a different listener question, and then it became like a bit of a volley back and forth of insults and all the things each one of us had done wrong, and then we both got upset. We thought we would pause.
Excuse
it got
me,
a
one
bit
of us
awkward.
got upset. The other one of us is as cold as ice today.
I was getting annoyed.
Yeah, you weren't getting upset. You were just getting frustrated.
I was getting annoyed. It was about to dissolve into tears. You already gave me a book this morning that literally took one look at the back cover and nearly cried. So we're good. Emotions are high. So, Rosemary, what do you need?
Oh, I need to go home. Just get away from you.
Well, seriously, like when you're upset, what do you like?
Oh God, it's just gonna make me cry some more. Can you talk about what you'd like when you're upset?
Okay. So when I'm upset, which is rarely, which is all the time, when I'm crying, which is actually all the time, whether it's at TV, oh my God, what's that book I read last week? Emma Donoghue, Pull of the Stars or whatever.
The one you tried to give me, and I was like, I just read Hamnet that Mom had recommended, which was about a boy, like a young boy who dies. That's not a spoiler because it's on the book jacket. And then you were like, I went to Barnes and Noble and I got you this book. And I read the back of it and it's basically like, it's about midwifery and infant mortality or something. I was like, no thanks.
Oh no, I didn't read the back of it. I just saw that it was Emma Donoghue. I was like, A, she's Irish. B, she's a good writer. I should support somebody Irish who is a good writer like you.
Don't try to suck up.
Okay. So I bought that, but then when I brought it home and gave it to you as a gift, delight, and you read the back and your face went from like touched delight to just...
Absolutely not.
Just bafflement. I'd say like pure bafflement.
It's just like, what's wrong with the women in my family?
So anyway, you were correct. I read it out by the pool the other day. I actually had to. I was like a wreck when I came in afterwards. You'd swear like you go out to relax in the sun. I came in like I'd been beaten around the head. I cried for, I'd say, the last 100 pages of it, at least.
I had to put Hamlet away for a week to take a break from it because I was ravaged.
But on the other hand, there are those moments where I actually need like, it's not that I need a cry. It's more that like I feel like crying and I kind of can't. Or if I'm in the, it's like if it's during the day and I'm like, I am really upset when I get home, I'm going to bawl my eyes out. And then I get home and there's like zero, like literally the driest eyes can't squeeze out a tear. Do you know what always does the trick? Is reading Surprise. What is it called? Impatient. Surprised by Joy, that poem. The one, same thing where...
Oh, you love that poem.
Oh, well, I mean, I do love the poem, but also like I can't read it without crying. Like
what always works for me is watching the
crying.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer episode Becoming Part 1. When Angel loses his soul and Buffy doesn't know what's going on.
Angel loses his soul.
He does. But Buffy loses something else.
Okay. So
wink.
Okay, so back to I'm bawling my eyes out at the pool and I come in and Don's like, I mean, I have to say like his response to me crying is never like, he goes, oh my God, what's wrong? What happened? And I go, just reading a really sad book. Oh my God. Okay, you're fine. And I'm like...
Someone did message us during the week and say they really want to hear Don's voice.
Oh, you're hearing
Don's
it right
real
now.
Voice. Brandon, when I cry, likes to just stand at what he considers a safe distance and be like, it's okay. And I've had to say to him, if I'm crying, like if I'm upset about something, you need to give me a hug.
Oh my God, do not give me a hug. You haven't laughed.
Well, no, but I mean, if I'm having an argument or I'm upset about something or I'm basically like panicking about something hypothetical that I'm worried about, I want a hug.
Do not touch me.
If I hurt myself, I don't want to be hugged.
Don't
want to be touched.
touch me at all if I'm upset.
Really?
Don't come near me.
then you just end up looking at you awkwardly.
Stay back and know exactly what to do at the right moment.
Which is?
I have no idea, but it's not giving me a hug. What about
it's probably make you a cup of tea. I think you would find that soothing.
Oh yeah, a cup of tea would be great. That would actually be great. Okay, yeah, so there, you could make somebody a cup of tea when they're upset. Make them a cup of tea and then distract them.
You know what I also thought though about this question where somebody was like, you know, what do I do if somebody's upset? I never know what to do. It's like, maybe people just need to learn that you're not the person to come to when they're upset. Some people are crap.
But, you know, also, I mean, is this in a work scenario? Is this your best friend? Is this so let's
okay.
Here, hold on. I've got another one to say. I'd also like to say maybe this person is mom, actually, because didn't mom call you up and specifically say to you, so glad I'll be dead when I die, because then I won't have to deal with Beatrice crying.
She didn't say I'll be dead when I die. She said, I'm so glad you're the one who's going to have to deal with Beatrice when I die. She was like, because she'll be ridiculous.
She'll be ridiculous?
Yeah, there'll be no talking to her. Can you imagine? She'll be in floods.
What's ridiculous about being in floods?
Clearly, mom's never been in floods. That's actually a point. Mom doesn't know the cathartic, sweet release of a good bawling cry.
Oh, there's nothing cathartic about ending up with a pounding headache.
The headache is bad.
There's nothing cathartic when you can't stop crying and your eyes are just leaking water.
This is worrying.
What?
Do you think you should go to therapy? My eyes are leaking water. I can't stop crying. And a minute ago, you're like, I cry all the time.
But
this sounds like a real problem.
Actually, I was thinking recently I haven't cried for like a while. I haven't,
Since you read that book last week?
I'm too busy to be crying, I think.
Since you read that book last week?
Then I read that book and I bawled my eyes out. But okay, so go through this. So you're at work. Okay, so say somebody you're not super familiar with is very upset. What do you say?
You say, okay. So it depends. If you can just ignore it and you think, no. But I mean, say if somebody's crying at their desk, right? I don't want anybody to draw attention to me if I'm crying at my desk.
Okay.
I want to be left alone. I want to see a clear route to the bathroom.
Do you shove a couple of tissues like sideways silently?
No, you literally just pretend you didn't even notice because I just want to think nobody noticed. However, if it's very obvious, what I want is somebody who is nice to come over and go, Rosemary, can I have a word with you in this office? And to take me into an office away from everyone where we can close the door and they can go, I just thought you needed a moment.
Well, what's preventing you from getting up and going into that empty office by yourself?
Well, I'm trying to think of like when I worked in, say, the Irish Times, I didn't have an office. Like I wasn't allowed to go into somebody else's office.
Oh, you're saying somebody with an office.
Somebody with an office to go, come into my office.
Oh, that's
and then
nice.
Close the door and be like, I just thought you needed a moment where you cannot worry about people looking at you.
I'll tell you when what else, when somebody's upset is angle them away from everybody.
Well, that's what I mean by the office. Yes. So if you can't take them to a closed off space,
that at least you can kind of get between them,
sit down
and
in front
else.
of them. Yeah. Turn them away from people.
Giving them tissues is helpful. Like discreetly pushing the tissues across the desk. Yeah.
Oh, but I think if you're sitting at your desk and you're imagining nobody can see you, you're like, oh my God, everybody knows.
Here, if it's somebody at work, I think you just say to them, listen, do you need to go home? Go on home. Like even if whether you have the permission to do that or not. Like if you're crying your eyes out and you need to go home, you can just go home.
Not in my experience.
But I'm saying you actually can. What's the worst that's going to happen? You come back tomorrow. Like you text. Sorry, I'm feeling really sick. No, you don't. But what I'm trying to say is like you're actually an adult. Like we're actually adults. We can actually go home if you're having a terrible time and you're super upset. You can actually go home and text your boss or whoever and say, I'm sorry, I had to leave. I had an emergency. I couldn't stay or whatever. Do you know what I mean? People actually have to accept that. Like we are all grown-ups.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know what you mean. And in an ideal office scenario, I would agree with you. But I think there are a lot of offices where you literally would get a warning for doing that. Or like you couldn't do that in retail, for example.
No, of course. Like within reason, but you're not in an office in retail.
But I also think, I mean, say when I worked at Stellar, say Kirsty was my boss and I could have done that because Kirsty's very nice and reasonable. But I just feel like there are lots of places where you couldn't do that.
But do you think your manager wants you sitting there bawling your eyes out for the whole afternoon, sitting at the desk?
No, I think they're just like, oh, Jesus, could she pull herself together?
Yeah, well,
they definitely don't want you to go home.
I think they do, honestly. And I more mean like, have you look back at your jobs that you've had and you think, I gave way too much in every single one of these jobs.
Oh, I know.
So that's what I'm more saying. If you put it in perspective, like the job will be there long after you. They can do without you for a couple of hours. Like, sure, now we all know we can work from home. You have to go home and work from home, really feeling terrible. Also, you're a woman. Well, actually, this could be any sex, any gender. This could be anybody. So, I mean, I just feel like though we do have to get a grip on what we are allowed to do. Like nobody should be forced to sit in a room in front of other people, not just devastatedly upset, but also now feeling humiliated on top of it all.
Yeah, well, you know what? Not to bring it back to like, you know, let's talk about current news, let's talk about current affairs. But like the whole Simone Biles thing has made us all talk about like how little we recognize and how little we empathize with people's struggles with mental health. And so like in a way, I think this all feeds back to like we actually should expect a level of compassion and empathy and understanding from people at work if we're having an emotional time. So you're right. You know what I mean? That like if there's something going on that you need to kind of bow out and go home for your own sake. And like obviously nobody, I don't think anybody reasonable either is going like, oh my God, I have a 2 p.m. deadline, but I'm upset, so I'm going to go home and just like forget about it. Like nobody's going to do that. You're going to go home and go, I'm going to finish this at home. Or I'm going to, you know what I mean? You're going to figure it out.
Okay, so we're getting sidetracked from the, like, what should you do? Okay, so number one, you could say, anything I can help you with. Do you want me to get anybody for you? Do you want me to get anything for you? Would you like a cup of tea? Right, that is always a good one.
I do think number one, though, would you like to go into somewhere where people can't see you? Because I just think people get very embarrassed about crying in public. Including me, even though, like, I'm not an easily embarrassable person.
Okay, so now it's your friend, right? So what if it's your friend? And do you know why they're upset? Potentially.
You probably do if it's your friend.
So, okay, so right now, you're looking less cryy now, but okay, you've been crying. Let's play this one out. Can I get you a cup of tea, Rosemary?
No. Well, I was kind of thinking, okay, so it depends, right? I'm trying to think if I was with a friend, say we go for lunch or something, and they start talking about something that upsets them and they start crying. Mm-hmm. I think my first reaction is always like, where are they sitting? Can everyone see them? Do they want to swap seats with me so they're facing the wall or whatever? You know what I mean? Like what's going to make them more comfortable? Or do they want to leave? Or if somebody gets upset, like, you know, do you want to leave? I'll get the bill. You can go outside. I'll meet you at the car or whatever. But yeah, like I think when somebody gets upset, you know what I think the most important thing to do really from a kind of emotional or like empathy point of view is not to go, oh, don't be upset. It'll be grand. You know what I mean? It's to kind of go, oh, like, I know that's really upsetting. Whatever it is. You know, if somebody's like talking about a breakup or they're talking about something that's gone wrong at work or something they're struggling with, obviously it is upsetting to them. So even though we all know logically that most things will pass, you know what I mean? Most things will get better. I think it's important to acknowledge that.
Aren't we all just grown-up kids, right, at the end of the day? And they say that when your kids are upset, that your kids come to you with their problems. And they go, but your kids, actually, the worst thing you can do, like we tend to, as parents, say, they'll, you know, Nash will come and say, like, oh, so-and-so's fighting with me. And I'll go, oh, well, that's disgraceful. And like, you know, maybe you guys should go and make up. And he gets really peeved. You're like, oh, mom's such a nerd, like, doesn't have a clue. And like, then I did a load of, you know, I was reading about it and it was all about how you're just supposed to listen and go, yeah, you know, well, were you upset by that? Well, you know, why did he say that to you? Or, you know, what do you think you're going to do about that? Versus, to your point, like trying to solve the problem. Like we try and solve our kids' problems and we try and solve our friends' problems and we try and package it all up neatly and go, now there's your solution. I've solved it for you. Now everything will be fine. And really people just want to be heard. But like,
yeah, it's hard though, isn't it? Especially with kids, because like you want to go, listen, don't worry about that. You'll be friends tomorrow. You're going to be friends.
Well, also
tomorrow,
you want to go like, tell that creep to bog off. Exactly. Like, but I mean, but then I also go, but I mean, probably on the other side of the phone, somebody else's mom is going like, tell that creep to bog off, you know? I think though, I don't think I have quite the same reaction to crying in public as you have. Like, I feel like I'm always like nowadays, I'm like, it's fine, cry away. Like, who cares? We're in a restaurant. Who cares? Like if people are looking at you crying.
But they don't know, like, even if you're crying, like, you feel that about yourself.
I don't feel the same mortification that I used to, yeah. Like, I just think I'm kind of going, like, you don't know why I'm crying. Could be crying because I'm delighted. Could be crying because I've gotten the best news. Could be crying because I got the worst news. Either way, none of it is your business. So, like, don't worry about me.
What if you saw somebody crying on their own on public transport or, like, would you say anything to them like a stranger?
I'd be like, stop crying. Come over here and I'll solve your problem. No, I'd probably be like, that one's like, what's up over there? I'd probably be very curious, but no, what am I going to do? Sit down beside them and be like, no, because I mean, the last thing you want is some rando coming over to you and saying, like, if I was sitting on the subway, as I have many times in my life, bawling, crying, the last thing I need is somebody sitting down and trying to strike up a conversation. Like, I hate that when I'm not crying.
I hate that when I'm not crying. But like, I do remember one time when I had broken up with the ex, the skydiver.
The skydiver, that is not how we referred to him.
The amateur skydiver.
Skydiver.
The daredevil. When I broken up with him, and I remember I was getting the Lewis home from work, and I was just like, not even, I mean, bawling is the wrong, I was weeping.
I thought you broke up with him. That was the water running out of your eyes. That's
I did,
the
I was still sad.
Rosemary, that's the weeping that you made fun of. That's what it is. It's like when you're not even, your face isn't even doing Claire Danes cry face, but the water is just,
I'm sure I was doing
running out of your eyes.
But yeah, I know what you mean. It wasn't like, you're right. Like I was weeping. I wasn't like sobbing. It wasn't racking. It was just like nonstop.
Dripping,
and this woman
drip down the side of your cheek. Drip,
yeah, and I was sitting down. Okay, and I was yes, get it. And I was sitting down the back of the Lewis, and a woman was standing in front of me, and she leaned over to me and she goes, "Listen, they're never worth it." And I just felt very comforted by it, even though I would have thought, like, if I'm crying the Lewis, leave me alone.
But what? How presumptuous? What if you weren't? I mean, I remember a friend of mine. Her dad had just died. And she was out in the mall shopping, whatever. I don't know what she was doing. And she was obviously extremely devastated. And the security guard turns around and goes, "Cheer up, love, might never happen." And she was literally like, "It just has happened. You know, like, leave me alone." You know what I mean? All these kind of...
God, I'd do a murder.
Yeah, like all these platitudes are kind of, you know, seemingly harmless. And obviously not negatively intended, but you just never know what anybody's going through.
Of course. But I mean, I think in that moment, it was very fortuitous that she was correct.
Yeah, honestly,
you know what I mean. And like, I did feel kind of comforted that I was like, oh, she's right. I mean, I think I kept weeping for another 6 days.
Oh, you were like, girl power.
Yeah, it's like solidarity. I read something the other day that said that when men tell you to smile or to cheer up, it's basically them saying, "I don't care what feelings you're experiencing, but you should perform happiness for me."
But is that why men? Is that not just everybody?
Well, I've never heard of a woman telling another woman to cheer up or to smile.
I've never heard a man tell anybody to cheer up or smile.
I've had men tell me to cheer up or smile. Maybe it's because of my resting bitch face. You don't have that problem.
I absolutely do. You haven't laughed.
You don't have as much of a resting bitch face as I do.
Having a laugh.
Okay, we'll take pictures of our neutral faces later, and we'll put up a poll to see who has the worst resting bitch face. And everyone's going to say me.
Put our faces up a poll.
Everyone's going to say me because they love you and your contagious laugh. I was actually thinking we should do a competition for like the world's best laugh, and we should put your laugh next to other people with good laughs.
I can't even cope with you right now. You're being such an absolute bitch. So now that I'm upset, what are you going to do?
Laugh? like you were doing? The corner of my mouth is twisting. I can't help it.
Well, I do have really bad reaction to when people are upset. I get really panicked. I start feeling...
Do you yawn?
I giggle and I yawn, yeah.
Giggle and I yawn.
I do.
Okay, so what do you do if your partner's upset? If Don's upset?
Honestly, most of the time I'm like, what do you have to be upset about? That's true.
Okay, Claire McCabe.
I know, right? I swear to God, it's not off the ground.
What do any of us have to be upset about?
I know, exactly. Well, I read some pretty sad books. What did he do?
You're such a dismissive bitch.
Okay, when Don is upset, what do I do? Honestly, I do. I'm like, I'm wrecked. I'm like, oh.
This isn't about you.
I know, but I'm saying, I'm being honest here. I'm putting my worst self on display. I'm like,
you really are. You're joking, but this is your worst self.
I'm semi-joking. This is kind of, I mean, I do. I go, it's more like if I can solve, the thing is, Don hates tea, right? Don hates what?
I thought you were going to say something really profound. The thing is, Don hates tea. So my one solution to crying is
it's
out
true.
the window.
And then it just becomes so like elaborate and hard to make him feel better. And like, I don't know what to do.
Could you give him a hug? Anything other than tea gets elaborate and hard.
He doesn't really like hugs when he's feeling upset. When he's upset, he likes to be left alone.
Are you projecting?
For days on end. No. I only like to be left alone till I'm feeling better and my face has stopped puffing.
Do you not like, though, like if you're genuinely upset about something, do you not like a hug?
I mean, after the tea.
No, while you're crying, like. I like to cry into someone's clothes.
Oh, no. I hate that. Then I start to feel itchy. No, I hate that. I start to feel uncomfortable. And then I start to feel really paranoid about like, oh, I can't move my arm. It's uncomfortable. No.
You can just detach like one of those bathroom suckers.
No, then I feel like as well I'm rejecting the obviously very well-intended hug. No, I don't like it. So let's back to Don. So when Don is upset, Don doesn't really like confide in me for some reason.
I cannot imagine why.
I think Don talks to his brother. Don talks to Dustin a lot more than he talks to me, and he enjoys talking to Dustin. I hear uproarious laughter from the study when he's like chatting away with Dustin. And Nash even said to me last week, Mom, why does Dad never laugh with you the way he laughs with Dustin? I know, from the mouths of babes.
Why do you never laugh with Don the way you laugh with me?
I do. Literally, I sit beside him and I force it. Yeah.
I force it.
I make myself do it. What do you do when Brandon's upset? If Brandon ever upset?
Sorry, I was just about to say that.
He's extremely positive, upbeat person.
He's a very annoyingly happy person all the time. Sometimes he comes home from work and he's like tired and he's hungry and he's a bit grumpy. And basically what happens is I go, you're being rude to me. Like, stop snapping at me.
I cannot believe that you're literally like saying that I make it about myself.
Yeah, no. Like, he definitely came home in not a great mood the other day. And I literally, I think my first reaction was like, you're not in a great mood. I'm tired too.
Okay, good.
So I obviously don't react very well either.
That's fine, Rosemary. You're standing up for yourself. You're pregnant. You're tied to the kitchen since you moved there.
I'm barefoot and pregnant. I am.
Yeah, barefoot and pregnant. That's how he likes
baking shortbread cookies. No, he made those.
Eating shortbread cookies.
I'm like 99% of the time I'm covered in flour, but it's not because I'm cooking. It's because I'm eating baked goods over the stove.
Okay, have we offered any useful advice here? What do you do when somebody's upset? I mean, we sounded very knowledgeable at the beginning, but I think it has become clear that we really have no idea what to say and we're not good at it.
Well, I like to think I'm okay at it. I think offering the person the
cup of tea.
The cup of tea, but also like the escape route. So, you know, if you're in work or if you're out with a friend, like, do you want to leave? Do you want to get out of this place and go somewhere else? You know what I mean? Because I do think sometimes, especially when I'm crying as well, sometimes I need some fresh air. You know what I mean? Like, if I start crying in a cafe or something, like, I need to get out. I suddenly start feeling claustrophobic. I need to get out and I feel the wind on my face.
That's how I feel when I put on nail varnish sometimes. My nails feel claustrophobic. I'm serious.
I know you're serious. Oh. I know. That's an irrelevance.
Oh, yeah, that's good when going outside.
Cup of tea. Like, I like a hug if I'm crying. If I'm like emotional crying. Not if I've hurt myself.
Hug from like a random colleague?
No. Oh, a colleague I get on with, but no, from a friend or from you or from Brandon. Or from Mom. Mom's a very good hugger for someone who like, but then what happens is like, she'll give you a hug when you're crying and then she'll be like, there, now do you feel better?
What she'll also do is she'll give you a hug and then she'll look over your shoulder and say, that needs a dust.
I can't believe how dirty the kitchen is already. Yeah. I just cleaned it.
I like hugs from my kids when I'm upset.
Do you?
Of course.
Oh, they're always so sticky. Not your kids, everyone's kids.
They're not. They're dotes. I love having hugs from my kids when I'm upset.
That's so cute.
That makes me happier now.
What do you tell your kids when you're upset?
But then I feel terribly guilty letting them see me upset.
Well, that's what I was going to say. But I mean, I think it's important to like acknowledge that sometimes you get upset.
Well, I mean,
in front of your kids. You know
Bo
what I mean?
and I are obviously very alike in what upsets us. Yeah, Bo, my 7-year-old, because we watched. What were we watching? Oh, we watched
Space Jam.
Now Space Jam. But what's the one with the TV? Onward with the TV with the guy with the trousers. He has no torso.
The TV.
Yeah,
Where
sorry.
did the TV
sorry.
Onward.
Trousers.
Yeah,
Onward. Do you remember? At the end, I was in floods. Bo was in floods. Everybody else left the room. We had to stay on the couch in floods together, hugging each other with the sadness of like the dad going back.
Don't ruin it for anyone.
Oh yeah, with the sadness of the dad. Sorry, spoilers. And then Space Jam, when he thought, as they call him, Bugs the Bunny was dead. Oh. He's like, and then Bugs the Bunny was not dead. Spoiler. It's really not that much of a spoiler. The worst movie I've ever seen.
Just come out.
Absolute disgraceful movie. Bo was in hysterics, and then at the end, like, and I gave him a hug, and he felt better. He didn't. He cried for hours.
Oh, did he? Our kids are currently in the cinema seeing Space Jam right now.
Oh, right.
Their popcorn and the drinks. Yeah, as I live and breathe.
Oh God, it's a disgrace. Well, we watched it at home because we're not going to cinema still.
Yeah, well, they're obviously not in the cinema with me, so I'm not going to the cinema either. I'd actually love to go to the cinema. Oh my God, sorry. Crying in the cinema is good. Like, I quite like crying in the cinema though because it's dark, but there's nothing worse than when the lights go up and you're still in floods.
You haven't a laugh. I am usually fully recovered because what makes me cry in the cinema is the trailers. I have been known to sob uncontrollably at more than one trailer.
You're ridiculous.
That's what makes me cry. What did I cry my eyes at? I went with what did I go to see with Julie? Was it The Incredibles? And there was like a couple of, we went in Brooklyn, there were like a couple of trailers at the beginning, like cartoon trailers.
Or they do the cute little shorts as well.
Oh, that was it. The
movies,
Pixar shorts, the one with the dog. Oh my God, stop, going to cry now. Julie turns around, she's like, are you crying? I couldn't answer. I was crying so hard. Crying so much.
So like, what would you have liked from Julie in that moment?
Less disdain.
Okay, and then lastly, what do you do if your parents are crying? I find that very hard.
Oh, I give Mom a hug. I don't think I've ever seen Dad cry.
I don't know if I've ever seen Dad cry.
Happily give them. I don't mind giving them hugs. I just don't really want a hug. But I'd happily give somebody else a hug.
That's hypocritical now. If you don't want a hug, why do you think they want a hug?
Because I know they want my hugs.
That's true. I remember when Brandon's dad wasn't well and he was very worried about him. And I was trying to say to him, well, I mean, like he wasn't at home. Like, I don't think he was crying about him, but like he was concerned. And I was like saying to him that he should talk to the boys about it. Because I was like, you should let the boys know that you're upset. You should let the boys know that you're worried so that they know just like that their parents have feelings. You know what I mean? So I think I didn't realize our parents had any feelings or any real life until I was about 25, 35.
Do you think, what if you just don't have the right thing to say here? Like, you know, can you say like, how would you feel if somebody was like, I'm just not the right person for this? Like you said, I think like you said earlier on, it's not about them. So unfortunately, even if it puts you out of your comfort zone, that's not really a great answer.
I mean, yeah, I think, in hindsight, because I did suggest that, kind of going, you know, I'm not the person to talk, but like, that's a terrible thing to say to someone now that you said that out loud. I'm imagining me crying and somebody going, I'm not the right person for you to be crying in front of. I'd be like, fuck you, it's hard, this isn't a choice.
I mean, I'll tell you one that's stuck in my mind that I felt very guilty over getting upset, like when I got upset one time, but maybe this is different. Maybe this is not so much, nobody certainly made me feel better, but one of the girls in the office where I used to work, I was heavily pregnant. Can you be highly pregnant? I was heavily pregnant. I was just about my second baby and I was extremely emotional, right? This particular pregnancy, like everything made me cry, especially stories about kids, happy, sad.
I remember.
Nothing. I remember I had to pull the car over on the way to work one day because I listened to a song about kids on the radio and I had to pull over because I couldn't see. Literally like the windscreen wipers of my eyes were so
I'm imagining
blurred.
It was like we're the kids in America and you're like, oh no.
I mean, I couldn't see a thing. I had to pull over like on the highway to sob on my way to work, right? Got into, anyway, and we were talking just at lunch about people's siblings. And this one goes, she goes, I actually had a younger brother. She goes, he died when I was 8. And then I was a twin and he died at birth. And I literally just burst into tears at the table. And it was so awkward because she was like, kind of like, are you all right? Like, and I'm like, and I was going, it's not about me. Right? So that to me now was not an appropriate moment to co-opt somebody else's pain, but I couldn't help it. My hormones were like all over the place. And I still feel terrible. That was just such a terrible story, like such terrible circumstances anyway.
Yeah.
So I would say it's important to remain empathic without getting more upset than the person themselves.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Don't just tell them to get over it, as in, you'll be grand, it'll be fine, don't worry. You know, sometimes you can go.
That's like the polar opposite of this. So like one is like, don't get more upset than the person themselves, right?
And the other one is like, don't try and kill
it.
them with optimism.
Yeah.
But I also think you can say, I'm really sorry, I don't know what to say. Like,
oh yeah, that's a good one. That hadn't even occurred to me.
Yeah. Like, you know, can I get you anything? Would you like a tissue? Would you like a cup of tea? Would you like to go somewhere else? You know what I mean? Like you can offer all of those things. And then also like, would you like to be alone? Because I think some people do just want to be alone when they're crying. Like they don't want someone there as an audience.
I think we're assuming somebody, they don't always have to be crying, right? Like what if they're not just being upset?
Yeah, just upset. But, you know.
What about in my case, maybe you could offer me a charger so I could call somebody if I need to.
Maybe I'm upset because my phone's dead and I can't find my charger for the last 24 hours.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I think...
Would you like me to mind your kids? And I'm thinking of all the things you could do for me if I was upset. Would you like me to mind your kids for a couple of days so you can have a break?
Days?
Yeah, exactly. Might as well take advantage of this.
This is absolutely going to be like, I've just read a traumatic book and I'm crying. I'm not taking your kids for a couple of days.
Would you like me to do your laundry and your ironing?
Forgetting about your laundry.
Would you like me to Empty the dishwasher. God, these would all be great things now that I think about it.
They actually are great things. You know what I'd love if I'm really upset? Would you like me to go upstairs and make the bed?
Oh,
So you can go and sit on a nicely made bed.
that would be so nice. Would you like me to rub your back? I wouldn't mind having my back rubbed.
I'd like
That's
having
nice.
my back scratched. Would you like me to scratch your back? Yes, I would.
Oh.
Would you like me to build a scratching post in the living room for you? Yes. I
Would you like me to sing a song for you?
No, absolutely not. Bog off.
Would you like some chocolate? Would you
but
like some peanut butter ice cream?
Yeah, but not with that voice. Would you like some chocolate?
You're so annoying.
Yeah. Or you could just go, you know what I have for you? And then take something out of your bag. Like a chewing gum. An old lipstick.
Or you could do what you just did and very creepily make me put my hand in the bag to see what you have for me. Listeners, it was a croissant.
And if you'd been upset, that would have been very distracting. Because you would have been suddenly filled with horror.
I was a bit alarmed. I actually didn't know what it was when I first touched it.
I couldn't understand when you touched it. I was like, it's clearly a croissant.
It's flaky.
Croissant.
It's flaky, whatever.
Buttery exterior.
Yeah.
So I think that's it. Like, that's all anybody needs to know. I hope they've been taking notes.
Oh, would you like your feet rubbed? I'd hate that. Would you like me to take your nail varnish off? Yes, please. And give you a manicure.
I would actually like that. You know what I would like right now? I'd like someone to clip my toenails for me.
Oh my God, you're having a laugh.
No, I can't do it.
Why should I'll do it. I'll do it for you.
Brandon's going to do it. It's fine.
Oh, would you like your head rubbed? That would be so nice. Why not?
Creepy.
What?
Creepy.
You know when you go to the hairdresser, it's the nicest thing.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah, so I don't mean by a randomer. I mean, would you like me to hire a head rubber?
Oh, fine. I thought you were going to rub my head.
No, I'm
going to
not.
hire a head rubber. It's going to take a while. I won't be upset by the time the head rubber gets here.
That could be misconstrued.
Would you like to go for a massage? Like if somebody's going through an upsetting time, although I have to say I went for a massage. I went for a full body massage right after my last breakup. Remember, I was like, I'll treat myself. This will be nice. Oh my God, Beatrice, I bawled the entire... Oh, because all I could do was think. I just lay on the bed weeping.
Masseuse.
Oh my God. And I had such a bad headache afterwards. And I literally just kept thinking, I just want to get out of here. I'm crying. And like when she was like, can you roll over? I was like, give me a second while I dry my eyes. You know what I mean? Oh my God, it was desperate.
As if she didn't know your body's like shaking under her hands.
It was absolutely... And you know, usually you come out of a massage and you're like, I feel so relaxed. I literally came out, my eyes were like little piss holes in the snow. My face was so puffy. I had a really bad headache. And then I had to walk home. It was down the road in Fairview. I had to walk home completely pink.
Absolutely
covered in oil.
Covered in oil.
I was desperate, yeah. So like...
all your clothes sticking to you. So disgusting.
Oh, gross, yeah. Anyway, yeah, listen, you're welcome for all that stunning advice. Like a massage is nice. It does help me relax, but like not direct. I think it was like literally we'd broken up 3 days before and I was like, I'll use this voucher I have.
Sure,
Big mistake.
Sure, that's nice. A gift. Here's a thoughtful book. Take up a new hobby with your friend who's upset. Let's go and do some Pilates together.
Oh God,
let's do some flower arranging.
No. I don't want to do any of that. Like,
what about going for a walk? Let's go for a walk.
Absolutely not. If I'm upset, I want to stay home in my leggings and my hoodie, and I want to order. Oh, Bombay
you
Pantry. I love a
literally
Bombay
just
Pantry.
said you like to be outside with the wind on your face. Yours contrary.
No. What I was saying is, if I'm crying in a cafe or in work or something, I like to go outside and get some fresh air for a minute.
Yeah,
I don't want to go for a walk.
Straight back in and eat some more.
Go straight back in, sit on the couch. Yeah, eat some pastries
and Bombay Pantry.
And Bombay. I love a Bombay Pantry. I was thinking about that the other day. Anyway, listen. Let us know. Let us know what you do if somebody's upset.
I think we
it's
could
probably
do
better
some,
than what we
could do with some advice. Yeah.
For two people who are like frequently quite upset, we have no clue what we want or what we would offer anyone else. But isn't that the excitement of life? Just because you go through things doesn't mean you're an expert.
Well, that's true.
It's an important lesson. Thank you so much for listening to Not Without My Sister. You can email us, notwithoutmysis@gmail.com. Check us out online, notwithoutmysis.com. You can get us on Instagram @notwithoutmysister. And you can also sign up to our Patreon for $5 a month, where you'll get an extra bonus episode each and every week. It's at least minimum 4 bonus episodes per month. More in a month that has 5 Fridays.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.
Not Without My Sister is produced by Liam Garrity, sound and original music by Don Kirkland, and our original illustration is by Lindsay Nielsen.
Not Without My Sister is a member of The Warren.
As is our podcast, The Critter Shed.
For more great podcasts, hop along to thewarren.ie.